I love watching the Yes Network. 1995. I was still playing.
Getting into it now.
I know.
Without the Michael K. Show, we're going to be watching a lot of 90s Yanks baseball.
But we'll be talking to the newly minted play-by-play voice of the New York Yankees, Dave Sims. He was in Seattle since 2007. He used to work on the East Coast in the 80s and 90s doing Knicks games and has a long history with Susan Waldman, so we'll talk to Dave Sims coming up. But spring training is going on right now. Pitchers are starting to get loose, throwing I saw Crochet throw the other day. He threw about 45, 50 pitches, inning and two-thirds, 4 strikeouts, and let's yank him out. See, I don't agree with that crap. I mean, why are your pitch counts so limited that you've got to pull a guy that you just spent so much time and effort to get? Let him go 2 innings. You get 2 innings, you get 6 outs, pull him out of the game. No, 5 outs, 50 pitches, and let's go get him. We've gotten so soft in Major League Baseball now that everything is so regimented, scripted.
Part of the formula.
Oh, my goodness.
Part of the formula. It's all part of the formula.
That's why baseball takes so long to play.
But that's good to see him get out there. A lot of people are making their way out there. Verlander pitched today. He pitched 2 innings for the San Francisco Giants. Seen a lot of arms getting loose. Good to see Crochet, though, because we've been talking about the Boston Red Sox trying to beef up their pitching staff more than anything else. Now that they've got a lineup going on, they were working on it in the last 2 years. If you haven't noticed, Tanner Houck has become one of the better pitchers in Major League Baseball. Bayo really made strides last year. Now they have Walker Buehler, don't forget, and Cutter Crawford's. He ain't going anywhere. So Garrett Crochet is the ace. Garrett Crochet is a guy they are counting at least 20, maybe more wins out of.
If he gets 20 wins, he wins Cy Young.
You think so?
Let's say out of 34 starts, if the team wins 25 games,
that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not talking about
if he can win between 15 and 20, would be an outstanding season.
Yeah.
Not going to be easy, but no, I agree with you. I love the rotation. I love the fact that that Buehler is hot to trot, wants to show everybody that the Dodger thing was no fluke. Crawford's going to be fighting. They're going to be fighting with Whitlock for that 5th position. You could even go in a 6-man rotation. I love Houck because you have different. You get lefty, righty, power righty. Crawford and Buehler are your atypical low 90s, mid 90s pitchers, but Bayo is so good he could win a Cy Young in his career. Houck is a guy that he throws from the side, very difficult to hit. I love the different guys that they have. Then you bring in Hendricks as your closer. Aroldis Chapman can close from the left side. These guys are all helping these younger pitchers that are coming up from the minor leagues. You just need some offense. You go out, you get Bregman. This team's going to go from a 500 team to a 90-plus win team. That's where you're looking at how many wins does Crochet add? How many does Buehler add? How many does Bregman add? And I think if you total up all of the sums of these guys, I think they can get about 15 more wins and be around 95, 96 wins. And that's the difference between winning the American League East, going to the postseason, and going deep into the postseason.
Yesterday, we told you about Nick Madrigal for the New York Mets now, third baseman and other positions. He's on the shelf. He's a little bit banged up. And then the Mets go out and make a deal. Now, not for an infielder, but an outfielder. They pick up Alexander Canario. He is from the Chicago Cubs. They just trade cash for him, so really no harm, no foul for him. And it's very small sample size with Canario in the show, but he's been pretty productive and a guy that you can put in most places. Mets making those little moves just on top of those big moves as well, and I think those are important moves to point out because they can win you some World Series.
Well, you also see a lot of late signings here too, because after 2 weeks of spring training, you're looking at your roster and going, you know what, okay, we got about 22 guys, and we need 26. Where's our depth lacking? Do we need a third catcher? Do we need a 5th outfielder? Do we need a 5th infielder? That kind of stuff. And you start looking around who's available for a AA player. Who's available that's not signed right now. You still have Verdugo is unsigned. So there's teams that right now they're just saying that, he's not a great clubhouse guy. He's still a hell of a baseball player. I mean, as much as I bag on that dude, he's young. He's a really good outfielder, and he's a good player. It's like, but his agent should be saying to him, listen, wherever you go, and this will be your 4th team in 4 years, shut your damn mouth, take the damn chains off, stop being a spectacle, and play baseball. Because you're hurting yourself. You can make $150 million, $200 million in this game if you just act normal. And normal in the baseball standards of just do your job, do it well, and don't be such a nuisance that like the New York Yankees and Boston Red Sox and LA Dodgers, 3 of the top, like, say, 5 most traditional, impressive organizations out there the last 100 years, can't stand you. That's the way I look at it. You're starting to burn so many bridges that teams are shying away from you because of your reputation. You want to have a reputation where teams can't wait to get you. That they're trying to do anything they can to get you, like an Alex Bregman. The scandal aside in Houston, he's still one of the best infielders / sluggers in the game. Where you're like, listen, I'll invest $120 million in this dude. So Verdugo and guys like Verdugo, you want to be these players that teams regard as, if I put him in this clubhouse, let's say Justin Turner, who just signed. You sign a 40-year-old guy that's been around and been a so beloved part of all the clubhouses he's been in, you couldn't wait to get him back. Teoscar Hernandez. Dodgers couldn't wait to get him back. When we had Tim Cates on, who does the Dodgers, he's like, listen, this guy is the heart and soul of this team. They wanted him back off the championship team. That tells you all you need to know about the difference between a Teoscar Hernandez and a Alex Verdugo.
Yankees did play today. They lost 4-5 to the Twins. That Red Sox-Yankees game did become canceled yesterday. A lot of games got canceled because of some weather in Florida area. It looked like Bader had a home run today. Trying to find some of these pitchers. A lot of guys just getting 1 innings of work, just like you were saying with Crochet out there the other day. But I don't know. I think the Yankees, I'm really looking at their pitching staff, man, and really not the guys that we know they have to count on, like your Garrett Coles and your Carlos Rodons, but just some of those other guys who are going to make up that back end. Marcus Stroman, that situation's very interesting. What do you think about that before we move on? Stroman does not want to be a reliever. He only wants to be a starter.
He knows his limitations at this point, and if they can't come to some kind of compromise where maybe you start the season in the bullpen, you earn your way back into the rotation kind of deal, you got to move him. But his contract and how much he's earning, it limits your options there. And then wherever he goes, he wants to be a starter. How many teams out there still think he's a 1 through 5 guy? I still think he is. I think he's still got great stuff. I was watching him in the bullpen. They're like Aaron, and I'm sitting there thinking, Aaron Boone is the dude, or even the guy who is their pitching coach is going to make the decision in there. No, you want like your top scouts from other organizations to be able to see him. How do you do that? You pitch in spring training. Guys got to get in some games in spring training. Put it out there that not only is he healthy, but he can still throw 3 innings. He can still throw 5 innings. So the stupidest thing that whether he got it from his agent or got it in his own head, I'm not going to perform. You have to. You can't make the club. We used to always say you can't make the club in the clubhouse. You can't be in the training room. You can't be in the clubhouse. You got to go play some of these games. And so that's why I think now he's out there. He's throwing bullpens, do some live BP. I just saw that Judge was hitting off Garrett Cole. That kind of action. That's the stuff that's prepping you for the season. And eyeballs can see that. You can be on a backfield in spring training and still be seen. Like in the NBA or NHL or whatever, most of those practices are closed. MLB in spring training, dude, any jabroni can walk out on field 5 and watch Garrett Cole throwing live batting practice and watch Aaron Judge, or watch Marcus Stroman throwing batting practice. And then you can get out there with a gun and you could sit there, not a real gun, people, a Jugs gun or whatever gun they have today to do velocity. And you sit there with the scouts behind him and you're like, oh, he's throwing 92, 93, great breaking ball, blah, blah, blah. You go back to your boss and you're like, listen, let's do this Stroman thing. Because here's the thing, as spring training progresses, you're going to have guys that get injured. You had Manaea just get injured oblique. We don't know how long he's out. You know what? Hey, Mets, Stroman, he's been there before. You already know this guy.
Ooh, I like that.
It's a great fit if he's in the rotation. And when Manaea comes back, if it's like, May before this guy comes back, you're like, listen, Are you acceptable with going to the bullpen at that point if you're not pitching well? If you are pitching well, you're going to stay in the rotation.
Right.
So it's really kind of a win-win for Stroman right now. But there's going to be other injuries. There's going to be other competitive teams. Dodgers still have 6 guys coming back from surgery. Some of these guys aren't going to progress. They're going to have setbacks. All of a sudden, boom, now Stroman gets on your radar. But you got to be pitching, Stro. You got to be in these games. I don't care if you're facing number 95. Somebody needs to be able to send their iPhone video to Andrew Friedman and say, hey, listen, this guy's good to go. I've been watching him the last 2 starts, last 2 weeks. This guy can pitch for us.
So he's fighting Clark Schmidt for really the last spot because everything else is locked up. Now, it's not locked up where it's going to be automatic wins unless your name's Garrett Cole. I mean, come on, man. He's been awesome, and he's going to continue to be awesome. Max Fried, don't forget, he joins the party.
Oh, that's right. I can't wait to watch that dude pitch.
Hate to break all the non-Yankee fans' hearts with that because that's going to be pretty nasty to see every fifth day out there. Then Carlos Rodon. And don't forget your Rookie of the Year, baby, Luis Gil.
Gil!
If Gil has a year like he did in the first half, because that's really where he won the Rookie of the Year, and if Marcus Stroman can be like what you're saying, dude, that is nasty right there. And then the biggest question, though, and that this is where everyone's wondering about Yankees pitching 7, 8, 9. I mean, Devin Williams is going to be your closer. At least that's penciled in right now. But that was a roller coaster ride all year through the World Series.
Yeah. Absolutely, and here's another thing that I'm looking at is guys that are changing positions. Mookie Betts is coming in to play shortstop for the Dodgers this year. They've already got him in the top 5 in baseball as shortstops. You've got guys that are moving around. Mike Trout is going to move to right field. So look for some of this stuff. We've talked about the Red Sox and Alex Bregman. He's moving to second base. His first game, where is he? Third base.
Yep.
So it's like, well, I thought we were going to play this guy at second base. So, I mean, spring training is where you do that kind of stuff. Who else is moving around? Wilson Contreras, your guy. He's going from catcher to first base.
Why?
Well,
I think
because
that's
they have,
dumb, dude.
But
That's
they
dumb.
might have some young stud guy.
Yeah.
O'Neal Cruz with the Pirates going from shortstop to center field.
God, I'll take Wilson Contreras back.
Clay Holmes is going to be a starting pitcher for the Mets.
I can't even move on past this Wilson Contreras thing. It's just Cardinals suck.
Jonathan India is going from third base to left field with the Royals.
I get that. Dude, he's fast. I don't need you stuck at third. Go run around out there. It's bigger, wide open spaces. That makes a lot of sense. Wilson Contreras knows the pitcher better than he knows himself. He should be calling the games.
Oh my God, this is my favorite one. Jose Altuve going from second base to left field.
No!
Reminds me of Biggio when Biggio went from catcher to second base to center field.
How did Bish do in center? I bet
He
she
was terrible.
Great. Never mind.
Remember they had Towles Hill in center field? He
Yes.
used to fall up Towles Hill all the time.
It's tough, though, man. I mean, who puts a hill in the middle of center field?
No, that was idiotic
That's so
that they
stupid.
did that.
But Altuve, I can't see that. He is. If anyone has a second base frame, Altuve's got the frame.
Well,
man.
last year of all qualifying second basemen in Major League Baseball, he was ranked 36 of 37.
Dang.
Time for you to go to the outfield, young man.
So left field is the place where you put the bad kids now? I didn't know that.
No, but listen, as I've said this many times on this program, Pete Rose made the All-Star team at 5 different positions. It's just, God, who was a really good hitter, is going to the Hall of Fame, right-handed hitter, played for the Cardinals and the Angels. I'm just drawing a blank right now.
Your favorite, Jim Edmonds. I know.
No,
He
not
was the
Jimmy,
best.
not Jim Edmonds, but it was Pujols.
Oh.
And so Albert
How do you
Pujols,
forget Pujols?
Pujols didn't have a position with the Cardinals, so he went from first to third to the outfield,
Right.
and then when he went to the Angels, obviously you're able to DH them. Now both leagues have the DH, so you can DH guys. But a lot of guys, I'll tell you, even playing with Frank Thomas, he didn't want to DH. Hated it. Worst first baseman I ever played with, or even saw play first base. But some guys are adamant. I don't want to DH. Right? Then there's guys like David Ortiz goes to the Hall of Fame as a DH.
I remember when Votto was mic'd up, and I think it was the first mic'd up games that ESPN was doing on Sunday Night Baseball. He's playing first, and Eduardo asked him, why would you want to play first base? You're an old man. Go back to the dugout. And he was talking about how much more you were involved in the baseball game. And that, for him, he always wanted to be every pitch involved in the baseball game.
Yeah, and jabronis like me, the bullpen dudes, running around the clubhouse or running around the in the dugout. We're a pain in your butt. You don't want to sit with us when the team's playing in the field.
Guilty by association. You didn't know that he was only throwing curveballs, hanging out with Dibble in the bullpen. Can you blame me?
We're playing games out there, man. We're bowling. We're doing all kinds of crap. Doing trivia games, trying to keep ourselves occupied until, hey, get up. Oh, what? Wait, there's a baseball game going on? Yeah, you don't want to be out there. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Bob Joyce.
All right.
Bob Joyce can call some hockey with Adam Giardino. He is out there at the Toscano Family Forum, and we will talk to him next on the Rob Dibble Show with Ben Darnell in your afternoon drive.